Hi everybody guys. How are you all doing? Hope you all are doing well. A very good afternoon to all of you. Welcome to my channel, The Living World. So guys, I would first of all like to introduce myself and my topic which I'm going to present today in my video. So as you can see on the screen, I have written my name here for you, and today the subject of my presentation will be nutrition. My talk is going to be very much relevant for all of you guys who are preparing for any of the exams in which general science is asked as one of the subjects. By the end of this lecture, you all will be familiar with the basic idea of what nutrition is, why nutrition is needed, types of nutrition, and what are the three basic steps of photosynthesis. So I'll start by explaining that from the point that why do we actually need nutrition. So as you can see in this picture, we are indulged in a lot of daily activities, like for example here the boy is walking along the bridge, men are uh, men are playing on the football ground, the uh, a man is doing his daily exercise, and people are riding bicycles. So, in order to carry out all these kind of activities, what do we need? We actually need energy. So, where does this energy come from? This energy comes from the food we consume. So, we can say that food is actually the source of energy that we need to do various kind of life processes. So we can tell food is vital as it provides the energy needed for growth and all sorts of other life processes. So we can tell that nutrition is nutrition is actually nutrition is the study is the branch of science that deals with the study of what? The study of food. Okay, so what does this nutrition means? What does this mean? It can be defined as follows. Nutrition is the process of taking in food and converting it into energy and various other vital nutrients that are required for life. Okay, so nutrition is what? Actually taking in food and converting that food into energy. Okay, so my next point is, how do living beings actually get their food? There are various modes of nutrition actually. All the living beings actually need nutrients for proper functioning. Sorry, oh here it is. So all the living beings actually need nutrients for their proper functioning and growth, but they show divergence in how they fulfill this demand. What does this mean? This means the every living organism actually need nutrients, but their full the way of the mode of their nutrition can be very very divergent or very very different. Some, or for example, some organisms feed on simple inorganic compounds, whereas simple inorganic compounds to meet their nutrient requirement, while others utilize complex compounds. So it can be concluded that the mode of nutrition actually varies from one species to another. So here comes the next one. What are the types of nutrition? So it can so we can tell broadly on the basis of their mode of nutrition, the types of nutrition the organisms can be divided into either autotrophs or heterotrophs. Okay, so what do you mean by autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition? What is the basic difference? Here, auto means self, and trophic means nutrition. Okay, that means it is self nutrition basically. And hetero means they depend upon the autotrophs for their nutrition. Okay, so autotrophic nutrition, in case of autotrophic organisms, they actually make their own food. That's why they are called autotrophic organism, and this kind of nutrition is called autotrophic nutrition. In case of heterotrophs, what happens? They depend upon others for their food. They do not prepare their own food. That's why they are called heterotrophic organisms, and their kind of nutrition is called heterotrophic nutrition. So what happens actually in autotrophic nutrition? In this mode of nutrition, the organisms use simple inorganic matters like water and carbon dioxide in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll to synthesize their own food. Okay, this process of preparing food is called photosynthesis. So what happens in photosynthesis? In case of plants, what they do, they prepare their own food. How do they prepare their own food? Due to the presence of a green pigment in their leaves that is called chlorophyll. So in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, they use simple inorganic matters like water and carbon dioxide to synthesize their own food. So this kind of preparation of their self-made food is called photosynthesis. This process is called photosynthesis. So what actually happens in photosynthesis? During photosynthesis, carbon dioxide and water get converted into carbohydrates. Okay, these carbohydrates are stored in the form of starch in plants. So what does this starch mean? Starch is actually the stored form of energy. Okay, the stored form of energy. That means all these carbohydrates which are made, they may not be utilized at the same time. It can be stored somewhere in plants so that it can be utilized whenever needed. This stored form of food is called starch. It is also called carbohydrates in case of plants. In case of plants, they are called starch. So, what is starch? Starch is the reserved food in case of plants, which they make. So, what are the three basic steps of photosynthesis? Now we can explain the steps of photosynthesis. So, before explaining the steps, first of all, see at this equation. What is this equation? This is actually the chemical equation of photosynthesis. We just saw the previous slide that in case of photosynthesis, carbon dioxide and water are, are the these are the inorganic materials in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. They forms what? They form carbohydrates. So this glucose is nothing but the carbohydrate. Okay, so this is the carbohydrate form. Okay, so in case of plants, if it is not utilized, it will be reserved in the form of starch. Okay, so this is the chemical equation which happens in case of photosynthesis. So what is this? Six molecules of carbon dioxide, six molecules of carbon dioxide combined with 12 molecules of water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll to give one molecule of glucose plus six molecules of oxygen and six molecules of water. Okay, so what happens now in the process? We will see the process of photosynthesis can be explained in three stages. What are the three stages? Absorption, conversion, and reduction. So in case of absorption, why this stage is called absorption? Because here the pigment chlorophyll which is present in the leaves of the plants, they actually trap or absorb the light coming from the sun. That means they absorb the sun rays coming from the sun. So that's why this stage is called absorption stage. In the next stage, what happens? In case of the second stage, this stage is called conversion. Why is it called conversion? Because the absorbed light energy which was trapped, which was trapped by the chlorophyll pigment, that gets converted into absorbed light energy gets converted into chemical energy. All right, and the water absorbed is split into hydrogen and oxygen molecules. Now the question is, where does this water come from? This water actually comes from the soil. Okay, water comes from the soil. So what happens in case of conversion stage? The absorbed light energy gets converted into chemical energy, and the water will split into hydrogen and oxygen molecules. That's why this stage is called conversion stage. Okay, now the final stage is reduction stage. Why this stage is called reduction stage? Because in this stage, what happens? This carbon dioxide gets reduced to form what? Carbohydrates. Why this reaction is called reduction reaction? Because here carbon dioxide, which was CO2, gets reduced to carbon. Okay, oxygen is removed. So that's why this reaction is called reduction, because it removes oxygen. Oxygen is removed from carbon dioxide to form carbon and oxygen separately. That's why this reaction is called reduction, because carbon dioxide here is being reduced to form carbohydrates. Here what happens? The hydrogen molecules combine with hydrogen molecules will combine with carbon to form carbohydrates. So I think this is the last slide. Yes. So with this, this is my last slide. Thanking you all. I'm I would like to say that this is not the end of the nutrition chapter. I will continue with the other type of nutrition, that is the heterotrophic nutrition, in some other class, maybe possibly in the next class only. I will continue with the type of nutrition, that is second type, that is heterotrophic nutrition. Then in subsequent classes I will continue other two, that is nutrition in plants and nutrition in animals and human beings as well. Okay, so thanking you all. Before I leave this presentation, I would like to request you all to give about 2 minutes to, if you really like this video, to actually, if you really like this video, then please hit the like button and share it with your friends who actually need this, and subscribe my channel and press the bell icon to see more and more videos like this. Thank you all.